Hello and welcome to TLDR, where we address the questions everyone is asking and we make it crisp and fast. I'm Garima, and today we are talking about something that is creating a lot of buzz, not only in political corridors, but also among the laymen, the corporate, and the business world. On Sunday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi urged the citizens to cut down their spending on gold and petroleum products by cutting down unnecessarily travel and switching to work from home, avoiding foreign trips, along with other measures. It was done in a bid to conserve India's declining foreign exchange reserves. So, what is it about? From petrol prices to the rupee's value to why the government is suddenly talking about buying less gold. Let's break it down in this podcast with my colleague Dipavli. Hi Dipavli, welcome to the show.
Hi Garima, thanks so much for having me.
So, first thing first, what has the PM appealed for the citizens to do?
So I think Garima, you can just take us through that first.
Yeah, so the PM has basically asked employees to, the offices to give their employees a work from home. So he has favored work from home. It will reduce travel and, of course, the petrol and fuel usage and consumption. And he has also asked people to avoid gold purchase, use public transport and switch to carpooling, cut down on cooking oil, reduce dependence on chemical fertilizers, and avoid foreign travel. And he has also pushed for Swadeshi products again.
Right. So let me now address why the Prime Minister has appealed for this voluntary austerity right now. So you see, India is the world's third largest oil importer. We import about 85% of our crude oil requirements. And right now, the Brent crude oil per barrel price is hovering around $104. So the oil marketing companies have not transferred this, this price onto the consumers. They've been absorbing it all this while. Reports say that they've been absorbing around rupees 18 per litre on petrol and 35 rupees per litre on diesel. So you see, with this huge crude oil imports, India is very susceptible to energy shocks. And so far, the price freeze on oil was helping us bide, through this crisis. But about last week, reports started emerging that oil marketing companies have been suffering losses. For now, they've lost over rupees 1 lakh crore over the past 10 weeks, and that the government is unable to shield consumers anymore. So, which is why the Prime Minister probably thought that this is the right time to alert citizens and, influence them to make more sound financial choices, perhaps. Now, also remember, India imports more than 90% of its gold consumption. So that is around 700 to 800 tons of gold that's imported annually. And our domestic production is just about 1 to 2 tons. And also, interestingly, in recent times, there's been this trend of gold investments that are trumping our jewelry buying demand. So what makes this the right time? I mean, the elections are basically over, which is why perhaps the government was holding on to the price freeze was being kept. So now that the elections are over, it seems like perhaps the right time to make such an announcement. I mean, there were talks about, so with these media reports emerging about oil marketing companies suffering heavy losses, there was a indication that, the price freeze could be gone soon.
So, my next question for you would be, what exactly are these Forex reserves? I mean, if you can explain it to our audience. Yeah.
So, India, like I told you, imports over 85% of our crude oil demands and 90% of gold consumption. For these imports, we have to pay for them in dollars. You can think of Forex reserves as India's emergency savings account, but this is kept in foreign currencies, not rupees. So the Forex is held in currencies like US dollars, gold, euros, yen, and other international assets. These basically help us pay for critical imports like crude oil, gold, even some medicines and electronics imports. India is a very import-heavy, import-dependent country. We always run a current account deficit. That is, our imports are greater than what we export. So to cover essential imports, we need dollars. Currently, our Forex reserves stand at around $690.69 billion. That's according to the latest Reserve Bank of India data. So I hope that explains what Forex reserves are.
So people are worried, like, are India's forex reserves actually dwindling? And is there any immediate threat of running low on forex?
Okay, so see, when more dollars go out than come in, there is pressure on the rupee, and the RBI uses these forex reserves to stabilize the rupee whenever there's a panic in the markets. Now, India's reserves are the largest globally, but media reports have said that in the last week they declined by $7.8 billion. So there is pressure in the global market, and this is being reflected on India as well. The reserves do provide import cover for us for over 10 months. So that is a comfortable runway, according to economists. So no, there is no immediate threat of the forex reserves dwindling. Now, Garima, I want to ask you something. Considering what the Prime Minister's appeal has been, let's get to the practicalities of it. I think what's really making a lot of buzz on the internet is the announcement that we should go back to a work from home setup. So how are corporates warming up to that possibility? What's the buzz around that on the internet?
Well, post COVID-19, it does not seem impossible, honestly. But I don't think employers are ready for this change yet, because most of the offices have very recently got back to a full-time office roles again. And after a very long break, which started in 2020, so people are liking this, again, the discipline mode of working, people coming to office, having meetings in person and everything. So going back to work from home setup, I think unless the government gives a mandate, like it's an official government order,
Yeah.
I don't think people are going to switch back to work from home. And also on the gold buying thing, I think you are right. People do invest a lot in gold, because in India it is considered to be something which pass on as generational
Yes.
wealth.
Yes.
So I think it will be very difficult to educate people on this, that maybe this is not the right time, and maybe they should
Yeah.
avoid buying gold and consider
Okay.
investing in something else. So
So-
a lot of information and education is needed on that front.
Right. So I think you're basically telling us about what the effectiveness of such measures can be. Could you elaborate on that?
Today, a ministerial meeting was held today to, basically get rid of all this panic and fears which is there among people. And it was clarified that this is only a fire-cited appeal. It does not mean that people need to start panic buying or, start hoarding gold or oil or
Right,
anything
yeah.
else. And additionally, the government also mentioned that there is no intention right now to give any package to oil marketing companies to,
Okay, to relieve, to
Yeah.
give some relief. I would also like to just jump in here and mention that every time there's news about forex reserves falling, it's basically everybody talks about the ghost of 1991. That's when a balance of payments crisis had happened in India, and we only had forex reserves that would last us for a few weeks. So every time there is talk about forex reserves potentially, falling, policymakers become very sensitive. That starts making news, because we've been through that once, and ever since then, India has been very. It has always maintained a healthy forex, and even now the reserves are quite strong. But policymakers they're always very risk averse when it comes to anything. The forex reserves basically sliding.
Yeah, right. So I think we have covered all important aspects about the big announcement made by the PM. And yes, it was great talking to you, Pavli. It was very insightful. Thanks for joining us today. And a big thanks to our audience for listening. And we'll see you in the next episode of TLDR. See you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
You are listening to Earshot Podcast. Find us on our website, earshot.in, on YouTube at Earshot Media, and download our app, Earshot, Indian Podcast app.